My name is Zack Chandler, and I attended the Prince's Trust team program in September 2016. And categorically, it changed my life. The things that I was taught on that program and the people that I met are the things that stand with me to this day and continue to impact everything I do. Prior to joining that team program, I had a horrific experience with doing 3 years of sixth form. Um, and basically, as soon as sixth form was over, I went and signed on at the job centre. And then they spoke to me about the Prince's Trust, which I'd heard nothing about at the time. And basically, as this conversation's going, I'm kind of listening to it, and I'm just like, okay, this sounds like quite a big commitment. And then they dropped in that there's a week-long residential. So I pretty much signed up on the spot because the mindset I was in at the time, I just wanted to get away. I wanted to get away from everything that was around me. The headspace that I was in was entirely unhealthy. I've been kind of battling depression for over a decade now. And at the time, I was at my absolute worst. So the timing of that team program coming along did actually save my life. And it with the things that I learned through that program and the people I met, like I've said, it gave me a purpose and awoke something inside me that I didn't even know existed. I was a very shy person. I never really left my room. I've played video games all my life, so I just used to speak to my friends online and just talk to them. But when it came to meeting people in person, that was never something that interested me. I didn't have that confidence to do that. And I remember very distinctly the first time we kind of all sat down as a team and we kind of did like a little icebreaker. And I was sat there and looking at all these people around the room that I'd never met before in my life. I had no idea who they were, where they came from, but starting to hear their stories was just, it was strange because it was like a comfort. It made me realize that it's not just me that I'm going to use the term screwed up, but I don't agree with that term. But that's how I felt at the time. My brain wasn't right. I didn't want to be here. I couldn't get out of bed every morning because what's the point? What's there to do? But then I was surrounded by all of these people with all of these backstories and different experiences, and it was just it was overwhelming. But yeah, like I say, it was a comfort to make me feel like I could talk about my experiences and no one in that room would turn around and judge me. And again, that was a very new experience for me, a very new experience because I'd received kind of a lot of bullying at times through high school. I'd received a lot of unpleasantries because I wasn't an outgoing person. I kind of got picked on for it. So yeah, walking into a room and meeting my team and instantly realizing that it's a safe place and you're surrounded by people that have been through the same, if not worse than you. And that's I feel like very important reality check. It definitely was for me at least. So as team progressed, kind of a lot of challenges came up. There were a lot of things that I never imagined myself doing, i.e., public speaking or speaking in front of people. I'd never been comfortable even speaking in front of high school classrooms before, so speaking in front of people that I genuinely didn't know was terrifying. But throughout the whole team program, I think about it now, and it was literally every single week there was like another door unlocked in my mind that could lead to something greater. And one of the biggest things for me, which something I didn't realize but has categorically impacted my life since, was being helped to discover leadership skills. And if it wasn't for team, I would have no idea. I would have gone back to my room. I would have closed the door. I would have played video games. That would have been my life. But because of the people like Chantel and Neil who were running the team, as well as all the incredibly supportive individuals that made up the team, it brought something out of me that I just ran with. And because I ran with it, the jobs that I've had like since that time, I've excelled. I've been at the top of my group, not to sound arrogant, but it really lit a fire inside me. And going from that as well, the fact that the team program organized work experience, I managed to secure work experience with Waitrose in Swaffham, where I was living at the time. And because of the skills I'd learned on that team program, I flourished there. I gave it my all, and I was rewarded. They turned around and were just like, do you know what? We really like you. Have a job. And for me, that was incredible, because the idea of an interview at the time terrifies me. I mean, at the end of the day, interviews are going to scare people for their whole lives. There are only a very lucky few that kind of enjoy interviews, but to have that ability to just kind of skip that step completely, to be able to be put into an environment where all I've got to do is prove myself, and it was incredible. And from that, like I said, I went to work on at Waitrose. After that as well, after I left Waitrose, because it was just a 3-month placement, I think, which incredible regardless. I then also ended up doing a get into retail program with the Prince's Trust, and that was with Marks and Spencers in Norwich, and I was successful through that. I ended up working for Marks and Spencers, and with all of that going on at the same time, I was fortunate enough to be given the opportunity to go down to London to interview to be a young ambassador for the Prince's Trust, which at the time was so important to me, because I'd literally just finished a team experience that saved me from making a very drastic mistake, and saved me from a hole that no matter how hard I tried, and most of the time didn't even try, I was never getting out of it. It wasn't going to happen. I'd accepted what it was at the time, and I was ready to go. But then after that team program, my life was completely different. Well, when I think about it now, when I think about kind of obviously how long I've been struggling with mental health, I'm in an incredible place now. I'm a lot stronger than I used to be. But when I think about it now, like the team program is the pinnacle. That is the turning point in my life, from when things went from absolutely horrific, I don't want to be here, to I have a purpose. And I can't think of anything else that could have supplied that. I genuinely can't think of something else I could have done, like whether it's something like counseling or things like that. I don't think anything like that could have done it, because just how the program was run and the individuals involved, it was superior. So from that, like I said, I became a young ambassador. It was my chance to give back to the amazing organisation that had done so much for me. So with this, I found myself getting the opportunity to go into businesses and companies and stand in front of these office workers and talk about mental health, which, I mean, thinking about it now, I still can't really believe, because that still kind of gives me like butterflies in my stomach thinking about it, because it is a very difficult thing to do. When mental health, it has come a long way in regards to open conversation, but even then, speaking in front of the room was also predominantly males as well, kind of 30 to 40 years old, which stereotypically don't really like talking about it. But it was after that conversation and after standing in front of them and talking about what the Prince's Trust does, and talking about like mental health in the workplace, and then having individuals come up to me afterwards and be like, yeah, that was really great. I really appreciated that. And that was an unbelievable feeling. Absolutely unbelievable feeling. I don't forget those moments. I mean, I have a pretty bad memory, but those are the moments that stick. And literally just from that point, this is why I refer to it as the turning point in my life, because in my eyes, don't get me wrong, not everything has gone right. There's always things that go wrong, but I'm in a position now, for example, where I'm living my dream job. I'm working for an organization called Rick's GG in the professional gaming industry, which if you had told me even a year ago, to be honest, even a year, that you could achieve your dream job, all you've got to do is be a leader, be a manager, and be a people person. And again, I owe it to the Prince's Trust and the team program, because I would not be as confident, as I don't know, charismatic, again, without sounding arrogant, I don't know. But all of this has been possible because of that turning point. And I I'm just grateful for it every single day. I think about it often. I still speak to people that I was on the team with, even though that's what 4.5 years ago. Um, and it never fails to amaze me that the work that is done with the team programs, and the change that happens, and especially with young people who there's a lot of expectation that you just know what you want to do in life at that kind of age. And I think the really difficult thing is a lot of a lot of the young people don't know what they want to do. So like me, obviously, I went to the job centre, signed on. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to go into the world of work. Education's not for me. It's been a horrific experience. Um, but then from that, you just learn so much. You learn so much about yourself, and I think that's the most important thing, is that you really find yourself. You find the parts of yourself that you didn't know existed, and you find the parts of yourself that are going to make you the I'm going to say the adult self that you want to be. But with that, I mean the person that you grow into, the person that you never thought you'd be in a million years, but then suddenly it's strange. You just know what you need to do to get there. And yeah, I just couldn't be more grateful.